Hello everyone. So today in this video I am going to show you about some basic steps of ethical hacking. As previously in the ethical hacking video you have heard about the 5 steps. Today in this video I am going to show you about the intelligence gathering phase. Means how can you gather some information about the target or etc. in deep details. So as previously I have told you about the Nmap. So Nmap is a network protocol mapping and analyzer tool. By using that tool, you can gain all the information about any IP address or the web server or what is running. So there are some different commands in Nmap which you can use, by which you can gather some information. Open the terminal. So first do Nmap, and then what will you specify? You have to specify the IP address. So I'm going to scan my Windows 10 IP address. I'm running this Kali machine in VirtualBox, so VMware, and my Windows 10 is my host and my main machine. So my Windows 10 IP is 192.168.0.105. If you do nmap space this IP, it will scan the IP, and you will get some information about what is running in that. So here you can see that these ports are running 1110, 135, 139, 445, 504. These are all TCP ports. So ports are of two types, TCP and UDP. So the in my Windows UDP is not running. So suppose if you know some IP, or if you know some websites, or you can gather any IP from a website like ping google.com. So the Google's IP is 172.27. But I will not scan over this IP, because this video is for only educational purposes. I will show you the steps how can you gather some intelligence, or how can you get the information of the TCP port or the UDP port. Suppose if you want to get the information about TCP port, what kind of TCP port is running. So I'm scanning my Windows only. Nmap -s is for scan type, -small s. And then if you want to scan the TCP port of the Windows, then mention capital T, then mention 192.168.0.105. It will scan all the TCP ports for you. It will take some time. Let it scan. I'm opening another terminal. So here it is scanning. So in this terminal, suppose there are lots of port open. So total there are 1 to 65,535. I don't want to scan all the ports. So what can I do? I can specify a range. So it's in my previous Windows machine, you can see that there are 110, 135, 139. These ports are open. Suppose I want to scan from 1 to port 200. Then what can I do? Nmap -p -small p to specify the port. Then 1 to 200. You have to mention the range, then you have to mention the IP. In this way, so in this way it will scan from 1 to 200 only. 110, 135, 139. Then 110, 135, the 445 is not scanning. Suppose if you want to scan the port, only one port, so -p. Suppose if I want to scan whether the 110 port is running or not, then specify 110 and 192.168.0.105. 110 is running, and here is POP3 server. Suppose you want to know whether SSA is running or not. So how can you know SSA is running, whether the SSA is running or not? SSA is always runs on port 22 until and unless it is changed. So by default it runs on port 22. Just mention port 22 and do. Yeah, port 22 is running, and it is filtered. There are some difference. See, at the previous scan result, SSA22 is not showing. Why? Because it is filtered. Filtered port means you can't you can't access this port easily. Means you have either you have to crack the password, or you have to do some steps like brute force or like that. You can't access this port until and unless it is open. In this way you can scan all the ranges of the ports, etc. Sorry. And here are my results. So if you want to scan only the TCP port, -s and capital T for TCP, and there see all the TCP ports are running. So by default my Windows 10 is very much secured, so it is not running any UDP port. So if you want so just know the basics of how can you do the scan. So nmap -s small s and capital T for TCP scan, and like, so if you want to scan UDP, so what will you do? Nmap -s and hyphen capital U 192.168.0.105, it will scan the UDP port -s -u, and UDP is not running on my Windows, so it will not give any result. So I'm not running the scan. It will take some time. So, but this is the step. Suppose if you want to know the operating system of what is running, nmap hyphen capital O, then give the IP. But one problem is that nmap always doesn't give proper result, and it gives proper result only if the website or if the Windows or if the machine is vulnerable, means if it is some, if it has some vulnerability, otherwise it will not give proper result. So I am not, so I am doing the step, but it will not give accurate result. So sometimes it gives accurate result or not. So nmap hyphen o is for operating system, and there is one more command hyphen o sometimes doesn't give result. Yeah, it is true, but there is another command os scan hyphen guess. So this command is used for guessing the operating system mode aggressively. Let's see whether with the help of this I can get the result or not. But I think that I will not get the result because Windows 10, I'm running the genuine version of Windows 10. It is very much secured. It is not telling what is running, so it will not work. But you remember this command, and you can do one thing. You can create your own system lab setup, like if you run the Kali in virtual VMware or VirtualBox, and then you can do one thing, and you can install XP and or Windows 7 in VirtualBox or VMware, and then you can exploit those system. So if you forget the command, so there's nothing to worry. Nmap hyphen hyphen help will provide you all the list of the command, what can you do with the nmap or etc. uh, so this is the part of the nmaps, and there is another more scan, unicorn scan. Unicorn scan in a sense is sometimes much better than nmap, or I always prefer nmap, but you can do unicorn scan also. Unicorn scan do hyphen hyphen help. You will do all the types. How, what can you do with the unicorn scan? So I'm showing you the basic TCP scene scan of the unicorn scan. So right, unicorn scan hyphen V for verbose. Verbose means it will give you some extra result, and then hyphen I is for immediate mode, and then give the IP. See, it is giving the port number, which ports are open, and POP is running, Emap is running, nearby SSN, and Microsoft. So basically what you can do, you can with the help of the TCP scan, sorry, unicorn scan, you can also write the TCP scan. But unicorn scan, I will say it is sometimes much faster than nmap. At the previous scan, when I am doing TCP scan with the nmap, see, the result was very slow, means the scan was very slow. After 2 or 3 minutes you got the result. So in this case, sometimes it is very fast. So nmap unicorn scan hyphen V for verbose, hyphen I for immediate, hyphen F for mode. Just like the previous in nmap hyphen small s for scan type, here you have to mention hyphen M for mode, and then capital T for TCP scan, and then IP of the target. See, unicorn scan is much faster than nmap scan. So these are all the TCP port open in my Windows 10. And there is one more option with the unicorn scan, hyphen r, you can mention the packets also, how many packets you want to send. Sometimes if you it is because sometimes you are doing a pen test on your server, and on your server is not capable of handling so much packets. So basically, if you don't mention packet, it will send a huge number of packets or small. So you can mention the number of packets, means how much packet you want to send. So hyphen, just like the previous, empty hyphen v, then hyphen I, then mention the IP. Hyphen r means on rate of packet, and 500 is my total number of packets, and do, sorry for the spelling mistake, I usually do spelling mistake a lot. So with the help of this, you also can do this maps. You can total control the packet also. And therefore here you can, here I am doing an UDP scan, because nmap because at the previous nmap scan I haven't done, but I think no, UDP port is not running in my uh, Windows 10. You can mention hyphen m for one and hyphen capital U for UDP. UDP port is not running, so it will not work. And if it is running, it is filtered, so you will not get the result. You can do always one thing, you can create your own vulnerable virtual machine, and I will talk about this later. And with the help of that, you can always do all types of scan, etc. Anything you want to do. So this is the basic features of the unicorn scan, and you can do a lot of things. You can always read the manual, unicorn scan hyphen help. With the help of this, you can get all the type of result. There is also the description, so if you forgot any type of thing, so you can always read the manual. But at the steps, the process which I showed to, these are the basics, these are the basic minimum process. So doesn't so this will this will cover the entire, means penetration testing syllabus. These are all the extra, you can always go for this. Actually, there is one website, and it is a website for the hackers only, not always the hackers. Shodan, you have heard about, I think someone not heard on Shodan.io. Basically, it is a website and the search engine for the Internet of Things. What is Shodan? Shodan provides you with a lot of images, computers, and running, etc. So basically, if you search camera, you will get the list of the what type of camera and what type of CCTV is running over here. You will get the IP, and you can control, like your CCTV. I'm using the free version. I'm using the free version. There is an paid version also. You can log in and register. So go to this. Let it search. And in the meantime, I'm showing you one more thing. And the previous I have told you the who is option. Who is, if you do 192.168.0.105, you will also get some result. Basically, use my internet is not working, or what? My internet is working. Why not? Basically, who is a domain lookup tool. Using who is, you can always gather some information. If you like google.com, IP location is here, the IP is over here, website Google, you will all get all the information if you want. This is basically a domain tool. This is basically a domain tool lookup. Why it is showing error? I don't know, student is showing error. So and NS lookup is also there. Yeah, like this. You can always mention an IP also, like this ping google.com. There is the IP, and if you copy this IP and paste it over there, you will also get the information. I'm not. Basically basically see, it is also Google, it is also Google IP, but it is showing Netherlands Amsterdam. Why? Basically Google, you all know that is in US California, but basically in Google there are many types of server, and I am getting the request from the server which is situated in Netherlands means Holland. So that is why it is showing Google Netherlands. In your case it may show something different. It may show it can show US, or it can show London, etc., but in my case it is showing Netherlands. So if you ping Google, there are lots of IP in Google, means their IP is divided netted into many sectors. So you can get different results, so that is not an issue. NS lookup is also a DNS and IP address finder tool. With the help not this, do one thing, you always use the NS lookup, enter. If you want to search the mail servers, and set type equals to mx google.com, you will get the list of the Google Mail name server and the mail extension server, and you will. So if you type set type equals to ns, yeah, these are for the name server one. These are the internet address server found on the Google ns1 dot, and these are the following IP. So using ns lookup, you can gather many information about some specific IP address range or etc. So these are one more thing, this command will not work in my case because my virtual machine is netted and it is not bridged. So suppose your machine is connected to a router, and there are lots of devices connected to a router. So how can you find the IP of all the devices? So do one thing, nmap -sn. Then what will you do? You have to find the gateway of your router. How can you find the gateway of a router? Do route -n. You will get the gateway of a router until and unless it is connected to a router, not by an Ethernet connection. So this will be the, in my case, gateway is 0.1, but it is netted, so it is showing different. So in your case it may be 1.1 or 0.1, it depends, or maybe like 8.1, it doesn't matter. So if your computer is connected to a router and there are lots of there are many devices running on your router, so we can gather all the IP address like -sn, do the gateway 192.168.0.1. This is the gateway, and how will you run up to 254. by 254 because a router can support class C IP and it can hold up to 256 address, and 1 is for gateway and 0 is for network ID and 255 is for broadcast. So 0.1 to 254. If you press enter, you will get the list of all the IPs and the name of the machine associated with it, and you can know which machine belongs to which IP, and you can easily gain access. Basically, this is not the basically this is a case of home scenario. You can run this on an Ethernet connection network also. Suppose if you have a broadband connection and its IP is a public and its IP is a private IP, means broadband's IP is like 172.22. If you know the default gateway for broadband, you can always do like this. Mention the default gateway and hyphen number of ports, number of machines it is running. So if it is falls on the 128, then it will run only 127 machine running, and if it is falls on a class B network, and you have to see the net portion also, then you have to basically specify 254. It doesn't matter, and you will get some IPs or associated with that part. But these machines are but this command is useful for if you want to know some information about any IP, or if you want to know the IP of any particular devices running on your network. So this whole command is useful. So these are all the basic steps of ethical hacking and intelligence gathering. Thank you for watching the video.